What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Throttle YouTube channel. My name is Quinn, and in the last episode of the S2000 build, we rebuilt this F22 C1. This engine is completely finished. Now, we hung our Greddy turbo off the side just to kind of get an idea of what it was going to look like and finish up the engine build. I always love to see a turbo on a finished engine, which looks really nice. So today we're actually gonna get this thing back in the car, but before we do that, I have to finish the plumbing for the turbo, get it fully installed, and then we'll drop this thing in. I got a table full of parts over here. Let's go look at what we're working with. So to start, we have all of our coolant and oil plumbing lines for the Greddy turbo kit. All of this came with the kit. So we have oil lines, feed, return, coolant, everything's sorted. We just need to put it on to get the turbo bolted down. We have a set of 550cc Dishworks injectors that also came with the Greddy turbo kit, which is really nice. So we're gonna get these fitted up so we don't have to play with it in the engine. We are gonna be relocating the oil filter housing. So we have a Grex oil filter housing relocation kit. This is also gonna allow us to run an inline cooler. If you guys notice on the engine, we don't have an oil filter on in the stock location right now because the stock cooler is too thick and it actually interferes with the Greddy turbo. So we had to take the filter off. This is gonna allow us to retain a cooler and put the oil filter in a more ideal spot instead of right next to the hot turbo. After all that's done, we're gonna take it off the stand and we're gonna throw on our new action clutch. This is a stage 3 sprung ceramic clutch. It is gonna be more than capable in handling the bumper power that this Greddy turbo kit's going to make, and it's still gonna be a very nice street drivable clutch. And to pair with our clutch, of course, we have a single mass flywheel by action clutch as well. Just a really nice piece to finish off the entire package. So first I'm gonna pull off the turbo. We'll start getting all of our oil fittings and coolant fittings on, and we'll get this thing bolted back down to the engine. Let's get into it. When we built the engine, I bolted the exhaust manifold down and then went to put the turbo on and realized that it's kind of a pain to put the turbo on with the manifold on already. So we pulled the manifold back off. First thing we're gonna do is take the turbo off because I just have it like on by like 1 or 2 bolts just to kind of hold it in place. We're gonna put all of our fittings on, so our oil feed, our oil drain, the coolant fittings, and then we're going to put the rest of the studs in the manifold, get all of our hardwares on, get that bolted down with a gasket on it, stud the back of our turbo, and then put it on the engine for good. Our turbo is completely assembled. Everything is bolted down and tight, and this is just about ready to go on the engine, but the engine's not ready yet. We gotta throw on our oil filter housing relocation kit, as well as a few other fittings to accept all the new turbo fittings we put on, and we'll get our turbo on. Dude, these pieces are so nice. We have one on the Supra. We have one on a few cars around here. Such a nice piece, man. Just works so well. Gets it out of your hair. We get to put this like wherever we want in the car. We could even have the oil filter on because the turbo was hitting it. And now it's just like, beauty. Love it. Putting the last piece in our last coolant line. So this guy's gonna come from here, essentially right there, connect with that guy, and we'll be in business. Our turbo will be fully installed and plumbed, ready to go. Turbo kit is completely finished. The turbo is installed, all of our lines are ran, everything is tight. We got a relocation kit installed as well. Last thing we need to do on this engine is install our new Dishworks 550cc injectors. We're gonna pop them in right now. Fuel Fest presented by Throtl is coming up quick. June 3rd at Irwindale Speedway. You guys are not gonna wanna miss this event. The entire team from Throtl is coming. We're bringing all the cars. The Supra's coming, the Eclipse is coming, the Freak is coming. We are debuting the S2000. It is complete and it looks so good. The car turned out amazing. I'm stoked on it. You guys are not gonna wanna miss this event. If you wanna save on tickets, hit the link in the description below. Get them before they're sold out. The ejectors are installed. Our engine is ready to come off the stand. We're gonna throw our action clutch on so we don't have to do it when it's in the car. We can just pop the transmission on. So let's do that. This came with a new pilot bearing. One of the cool things about the F22 C1 is that the pilot bearing is actually in the flywheel. A lot of times, like most engines, they're in the back of the crankshaft, and usually I have to like pound it out. I like to use bread to do that.
What did he say?
It's kind of a mess, but it being in the flywheel is really nice because we don't have to do that.
Did you say you like using bread?
Yeah.
Can you
elaborate a little? You seen that? Cut to the 2JZ engine. You remember that? Did I use bread for that, Ricky? What did I? Oh, no, I used paper towels. I use paper towels, yeah. So usually, here's the pilot bearing. Usually it's back here. Usually there's a recession in the crankshaft and this gets like smacked in there and it sits in flush. So like you gotta replace that, right? But once it's sitting flush here, how do you get it out? I used to use bread. So you just like stuff bread in there and you get a socket that's like the same size as that hole and you just pound it in there and you just like compress bread until it just starts pushing the bearing out. It's pretty funny to watch. But in all seriousness, let's get this on, get our flywheel on. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the throtl YouTube channel and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss a thing. Flywheel is installed, let's get our clutch on now. Action clutch is fully installed. Thing is gonna be epic. It's a super nice clutch to have in our car. It's a sprung ceramic clutch, so it's gonna handle the power of the new turbo kit just fine and still be a nice street driving clutch. Now that that's on, we're gonna throw these on, which is our beautiful billet Hotsport mounts. We're gonna throw these on the chassis side, this on the engine side, and then this motor's going in, baby, let's go. I like to keep the mount arms loose while we put the engine in just because everything can kind of move around. So it makes it a lot easier to line it up if I can do that. So then I can line it up here or wherever I need to. So we're gonna throw these on just kind of hand threaded. Then once all the bolts are in and all the hardwares are on, then we'll tighten everything down and it'll suck it all up and tighten everything up and we'll be in good shape. We're gonna get our chassis side ones on. It's gonna be a little bit easier to do with the car up in the air. So we're gonna pop these on and then we'll drag our motor over here and pop it in the bay. Time to get us an engine and drag it over here and put it in this thing. It'll be good.
We ain't got no engines, Ted.
Yeah, we do. It's over there. Look at it. It's right there. It's right there. It's ready to go in. Drag that thing over here. Be in 5 minutes. We'll grab me a Ricky, knock it out. Let's go. Our turbocharged F22 C1 is back in the engine bay and it is a little wiggly right now. We are going to be putting the transmission on next, and we dragged it out from the shelf that it was sitting on and realized it was super dirty. So we're going to get it outside. Ricky's going to power wash it. We're going to clean it up and then we're going to put it back on. Once it's on, we're going to get the rear cross member on, bolt down all the engine mounts and make it all nice and tight, and then start tackling wiring harnesses. Transmission is all cleaned up. It looks way better than it did before. This thing was disgusting. So car's up in the air, sorting through our hardware, which are these guys. So that's the transmission bolt, and there's a bunch of them in here. We're gonna get this transmission up on the transmission jack, up into the car, and then bolt it down. The engine is going back onto the engine crane. The reason is because this is a pull type clutch, because the throw out bearing essentially sits inside of the pressure plate. Normally when you put a transmission on, the throw out bearing will be inside of the transmission, and so you don't really think about it when you're putting the input shaft through the clutch housing. In this case, the throw out bearing is on the clutch, so it extends the snout of the clutch, so we have to put the transmission back further to get it up in the input shaft in the hole, essentially. Because the transmission tunnel like tapers down, we don't have enough room, and with this mount setup, we can't tilt the engine back far enough to get it down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the engine back on the engine crane, take it up, take the engine mounts off, lower the engine down significantly more than you could with a stock mount, and then we're gonna go in on our back from behind, stab the transmission in, put 2 bolts on it, lift the engine back up, put the engine mounts on, and cross member back on, then we'll be done. So that's what we're doing. The engine is in, the transmission is bolted to the engine, and the mounts are on, the trans mount is on, so we're in good shape. We still need to align the bell housing because it's not fully seated. We don't have it on the dowels yet, so we still have a little bit of work to do. It is done. We still have to tighten everything down, including the transmission, get the starter on, and then the engine will be officially in with a transmission on it. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, man. Let's finish on that.
Let's go. Transmission's almost fully in. We still have a few more bolts left, but we're gonna throw the starter in while we can. So let's go, baby. Sneak that up in here. Now the engine is fully installed, we're gonna start attaching all of our wiring harness, get all this stuff back in so we can keep on moving. Let's go.
All right, while the boys are getting the wiring put back on the engine and the fuel lines hooked up, I'm gonna work on getting the oil cooler finished up. This is a really comprehensive kit from Greddy, came with fantastic instructions that are found online, and is gonna definitely keep this engine running a little cooler. So I'm gonna go ahead, all the lines are pre-made, which is really nice. These are also, I found out, made by our friend at Dime PSI, Brendan, who comes down and does a lot of our hoses. He makes these for Greddy, which is really cool. So we're gonna toss these on. Two lines from the oil filter sandwich adapter plate are in, and they run up here to our oil filter relocation. Now we've got 2 longer lines that are going to go from the oil filter relocation kit down to our oil cooler. Essentially what this is doing is circulating oil from the block through the oil filter out to the oil cooler and back around. So it's basically connecting a big loop, allowing what adds up to be about another half a quart of oil in lines and everything here in the cooler. But I already mounted the core down here. So as you can see, it's already here. Greddy includes these really nice brackets that allow you to line it up under the core support, and it bolts right in. This is really an easy job. That's why I picked it. I'll let those guys do the hard stuff. All right, all the oil cooler lines are on. That's gonna complete the oiling system so that we can actually put some oil in the car. That's exciting.
So Ricky and I have pretty much finished all of the wiring harness attachments that we're going to be attaching for now. So we're just finalizing all of the hoses and lines underneath the intake manifold so we can move on to priming the oiling system.
Quinn is ready for me to start throwing the motor braking oil in. We're gonna use 1040 mineral.
Mineral, yeah, so that's an engine braking oil. So that's going to essentially lubricate the engine as it starts to wear itself in. So when you rebuild an engine, you got bearings that need to break in, even though I don't need to break in that much. The main thing is the ring. So the rings need to seat, and this oil is going to help it do that instead of hurting it. So it's a mineral oil instead of like something like a full synthetic. Really isn't that good for break-in. So we're gonna put this in, we're gonna prime it because we added all these lines and all the coolers and all that stuff. It's all empty. So we're gonna get it primed, fill it up, and then when we go to start it, we'll have a primed oil system and we'll have some fresh braking oil. We got our Greddy oil cooler and relocator filled with oil. Mickey filled it up, so we put a filter on it, and I'm spinning the engine by hand. This is essentially just manually running the oil pump, and we're getting oil pressure throughout the engine. So Ricky cracked the turbo oil feed line, and we had oil coming out of that, which is good. It means we have oil in the turbo, which means we should have oil pretty much everywhere else on the engine. So we just need a set of spark plugs. We need Will to load our Honda out of tune, and then we should be ready to start it.
Oh, hello, how's it going? How's it going? You look like our boys is up to work as usual. I wouldn't know about that, but how's it going, sir?
What's up, Gary?
Sir, how's it going, Mr. Mickey?
What's up, baby?
My name is Gary King Jr. down from Compton, California via Hoonigan.
Yeah.
I am the purveyor of talk and the master of
S2000s.
I fit in the S2000 as well as I fit in the
Gary's in the house. He's gonna help us with this S2000, but we're back to flashing the ECU. There was an EFI fuse that we needed to plug back in. We took it out so that the fuel didn't dump all over us when we were testing electronic stuff. So it's back in. I'm gonna hit upload. So we selected the tune for this. It is flash to the ECU. Now it's time to actually crank the engine and see her start.
We ready for that?
Let's go, baby. Yeah, we're almost ready. We're almost ready. So
What else we got?
I dropped the spark plugs in, the old spark plugs in. I want to take them out. I want to free spin the engine, the injectors unplugged and the plugs out, just to kind of get oil going again. Even though we just primed it by hand, just to like double, triple confirm that we have oil pressure, which is good. From there, we're going to plug the injectors in, drop our spark plugs in, bolt everything down, and then start it up. Let's go. We got oil pressure, baby. We're in good shape. We are ready for the first start, and Ricky's back.
And Gary. Ready to see this thing start for the first time?
Oh, are we ready? Ready? Let's do it.
Well, it's time. I didn't drive all the way down here to see a shit box. Can I cuss here?
Yeah, you can cuss.
Okay, good.
Say whatever you want.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Listen, the reptilian alien men are taking over the universe. They want to make us all drive EV cars, and
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
right? All I want to do is drive big cammed, hogged ass Nissans around, but the powers that be don't want us. You gotta remember, I come from a nice thing.
Dang, you hear the turbo?
Sounds good, dude, huh? That turbo sounds nice. Engine works, which is a really good sign, so now we can kind of button everything else back up. So we're gonna put the intercooler, the cooling system, and kind of dress the front of the car here and get everything mechanically back in shape.
So we got all of our parts here, ready, front mount intercooler, Mitsumoto radiator, Mitsumoto fans. We got these goddamn Mitsumoto radiator tubes that need to go on this car because I got here, don't run,
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
and I'm running a tight ship, so this thing kind of tight. Oh, mine's
Radiator's going on the car, intercooler's going on the car, and all the associated hoses and pipes. Let's put it on.
Oh, hey, don't hurt your back.
Oh, that's why.
Don't hurt your back.
Okay, hold on, got it.
We'll lift this together.
What? Teamwork?
Yeah. There, look at that. All right, you got it from here?
I think so.
Don't hurt yourself.
Don't want to strip it. There you go.
You the ugga dugga when you got these bad boys, the home invaders, you feel me?
So Will's installing the last of our boost pipes for the positive pressure, hot and cold side of the turbocharger. The intake one is the last, but that pipe like kind of goes like this and then goes whoop with the filter. But before that goes on, we have this beautiful plate here that's gonna cover all of this. And so essentially we need to have the radiator, the fan, and the upper and lower radiator hoses and all that stuff done. So then we can put the shield on. So as soon as Will is done with this, we're gonna move into getting our radiator installed, which Will has already put the fan shroud on. Drop that in, get our hoses done, and then we'll go move on to the intake. So we're almost finished.
Our Mishimoto radiator is mounted. Our fans are mounted on the shroud and plugged in already. Now it's time to do the silicone hoses. The upper and lower are going to go in on the driver's side, it looks like.
Ricky painted our deflection plates. We're gonna throw this on and bolt it down and get this air intake system on. Very last piece of the puzzle. This is the air intake tube. No. That's the last piece. That filter is sick, but this is what that filter attaches to. Look at that.
She done.
He's done. We put this engine in yesterday.
I know.
So this thing came together really quickly, which was really cool. So we haven't put coolant in it. We still don't have an exhaust, so there's still things that need to get done to the car, but
it looks beautiful. Look at that.
Great.
It was great.
And it runs.
I know.
Better. All right, that is going to be it for today's episode, guys. We have our F22C1 back in the engine bay. It is running and it is plumbed with all the turbo gritty goodness that we could want.
Dude, that was a lot of work in one video. We put the engine in, the whole turbo kit, the radiator, the fans from our intercooler.
But she's a ripper now.
Oh, she is.
Listen, I didn't come down here for nothing. I made y'all do all of this so one lucky person can actually win this car, get it done on time because KFC closes soon.
Can I go with you?
Yeah, you want? I said 10-piece crispy with you.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a comment on how you think our S2000 is turning out, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace. See ya.
Remember, every dollar you spend on Hoonigan.com or throtl.com gets a chance to enter to win $20,000 and this S2000. Good luck to you guys, and remember, have fun with the car because I can't, but you can.